if someone's won any world championship. And they deserve respect because that is a huge accomplishment, and that's the pinnacle of achievement in League of Legends. Impact is someone that I respect, and maybe he's not as good as he was then, but he's still a really good player, and he's definitely not someone I'm going to underestimate at all.
Welcome back to our Spring Split coverage of the North American LCS. It's time for our match of the week between NRG Esports and Counter Logic Gaming. We'll first talk about CLG a little bit. Now, they only went 1-1 last week, but they actually look pretty damn good. They're tied for second. Their loss was a really close battle against Immortals, and their win, really clean over TIP.
Yeah, literally everyone loses to Immortals, so you can't dock them too many points for that. Last week, though, Huhi actually took a page out of GBM's book, and he tried to play that Zillion mid, but it seemed like he had some trouble deciphering the handwriting on that page or something because the instructions were unclear, and he was not able to replicate GBM's success on the champion. The next day, though, Huhi looked much more comfortable on Zed, and he was able to play into that style where he likes to roam around really early, create opportunities for his team, and they were able to find a lot of success with that. CLG, they're still an extremely strong team at the lane swap as well as mid-game map movements. They've always been able to trade objectives very well. With Aphromoo and Darshan still in place, the same sort of strategy holds true for those guys.
Absolutely, and they even match their opponents on stage right now with their pink uniforms. So grab
Me
that
too.
one.
Huh.
Yeah, good for you. Look, okay, we all match, but also this is, I guess, the red side uniform. So now more teams are getting like away jerseys. Meanwhile, let's talk about NRG a little bit, because NRG are another team with a whole lot of hype, a lot of really good players, but they lost to Cloud9 pretty badly last week, Kobe.
Yes, they did. NRG, they've been fairly inconsistent, and Altec specifically has been one where people had such high expectations for him coming in, but he's been extremely average for the team, while GBM has successfully carried the team a lot earlier in the season. Last week, though, he got shut down very, very heavily by Jensen. Meanwhile, the other sort of weak point here for NRG has been Moon. It feels like he's got a lot of pressure on him to be the front line and to engage for the team, but there's a definite lack of coordination. You can see that there's miscommunication. You can see that there are issues, especially between him and the solo laners. He even talked about it a lot himself. They speak Korean a lot at the time, especially when the heat of a mid-game team fight comes up, and he's unsure whether they want to contest the Baron, go in fully, and those types of moments where you second guess yourself have been costing them.
Absolutely true. So when coordination is not as strong as it might need to be, then maybe it's individual performances that matter. And speaking of individual performances, Darshan says a lot of NRG success depends on which GBM shows up.
For the most part on stage, I think he's been a really strong player, but I've just had those flashes of like him playing really poorly where I'm not too sure how good he's going to be. So I think he can either be really good or just like a pretty big detriment to his team, because he like, I see him split pushing as a mid laner a lot, which is crazy to me because I don't see any other mid laner in any region do that.
I mean, I don't know if I agree with like the last thing he just said, since he literally just had Huhi playing Zed in the top lane like on Sunday.
I don't see any other mid laner.
No, except on CLG, because we're counter logic. That's just how it works. The memes write themselves. But honestly, it'll be a very fun matchup for us today. Let's check out the starting lineups. On the blue side, this game is NRG. That top laner, former world champion, Impact. Their jungler, Moon. GBM, just about heard about him in the mid lane. Altec at AD carry. Conquan on support with Coach Hermit.
And on the red side, it's Counter Logic Gaming. Up top is Darshan. In the jungle, Smithy. Mid, Huhi, AD carry Stixay, support Aphromoo, and Coach Zix.
All right, so we are ready to go into this one very soon. CLG apparently have been informed that it's not about red side as much as being Valentine's Day uniforms.
You didn't catch that with the pink and the...
I just figured it was playing on red side.
To be fair, you know, Valentine's Day is tomorrow, so...
Right. And they will play tomorrow.
They're trying to get the most mileage out of this outfit. They're like, my outfit's so sick. I need to wear it 2 days. We'll make it a whole weekend thing.
CLG is the kind of team that would put up Christmas lights before Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
right?
Keep
like,
them up
with uniforms like that. You keep them up till, like, I don't know, President's Day or something. We are into the game, though. NRG, actually less pink in their uniforms than CLG, ironically enough. But we are into the match. Rise off the table, so is Kallisto. We are on 6.2 still for this weekend's games. It's next week, and they'll move to 6.3 with all the various changes to the other champions and whatnot. But Graves, Kallisto, Rise off the table. Gangplank and Poppy. It's funny because those champions were banned. We didn't even see them in the last match.
Yeah, I mean, Poppy we did see. But
yeah. I'm talking for specifically the Graves and the Gangplank.
Definitely. Two very high priority champions for most teams. Can be punished though. Let's see if Zillion finds his way into the ban list here as far as last ban. Plenty of people have been, getting used to the Zillion pick though. The mystique has worn off. The surprise factor has worn off.
Yeah.
Still a very annoying champion, and GBM definitely one of the best at using it.
Absolutely. But with this suite of bans on the table, it means first pick Corki is the option, and it's picked up right away. No hesitation at all by NRG. So they want to replicate Frog and success.
I mean, yeah, mid lane Corki right now, so hot, Freak.
Yeah,
just actually
sure.
does a ridiculous amount of damage and adds the playmaking, the mid-game playmaking to go along with his Trinity Force completion of picking up the package is just such a huge amount of power for the mid-game for pretty much any team that wants to build around that timing.
Yep. It finally fits the tagline, the daring bombardier. Before it was like, yeah, I have 2,000 range, I throw rockets at you. Well, like, that's so daring.
To be fair, the Valkyrie used to have a longer range, so you could go for that move. It's just it was ill-advised.
Yeah, it was just wrong in most cases.
Now you give him solo lane experience. He's got more levels.
And you give him Rumble's Equalizer as a 5-minute cooldown, and it goes in sometimes. Well, Fiora and Lucian are the champion pickups here for CLG. Darshan right away getting a split pusher. No surprise there really at all. Jungler's still on the table though as they grab the Lucian.
Yeah, Fiora has been kind of the all-around just go-to split push top laner. Gets to be a beast almost no matter what matchup you have in the top lane. And with Poppy being banned out, she was one of the ones who could go toe-to-toe with Fiora. Now it kind of waffles around maybe Lissandra up there on the top side. They try and work around that. GBM already hovering the Zillion. I don't expect them to pick it too early, but Braum, I do expect to be already locked in, actually.
Yeah.
So that wave protection we're talking about,
yeah,
NRG already have locked in. Great poke as well as the ability to try and shove early with the Braum.
Yep.
There's the Malphite, one of the very common, not counter picks to Fiora, but
champions that you're happy to bring into the lane.
Exactly, picks to try and equalize.
Yep. So Malphite once again for Impact here. They're really putting him on tanks very frequently, which, I am a little bit surprised at. I feel like Impact's such a good player, at least he has been for so long, and he's been repeatedly playing tanks.
One of his biggest strengths, recently has been his diversity, and he's willing to play support tops, the Lulus, everything up there that you need, even the Morgana top. And his carry games have not been, what you expect with an all-star, world-class top laner to try and take over a game with the carry champ. So
yeah,
maybe they're more comfortable with him and Quan being the front line. Maybe that frees up Moon to go more of a damage-oriented jungle champion here.
Sure. They have saved that pick for a while. Right now, Elise has come through for Xmithie alongside the Morgana. Theoretically, a flex pick between Huhi and Aframu, though it's likely going into the bot lane there for Counter Logic Gaming.
Aframu's Morgana has been spectacular.
Absolutely.
All this year and even last year.
Yep. Only played it twice, but he won on both games playing that champion. Last round of picks here for NRG. The Kindred Hover I actually expect to see coming through.
I also always really like Morgana picks after Malphite. To try and Black Shield that early, because Malphite's an initiation. It's hard to knock off the Black Shield before going for the Malphite ultimate, because that's usually the start of the team fight. It would have to be a big one from Corki or something, finding its way back there to try and break it.
Well, they do have some magic damage skill shots now. Ezreal ultimate as well as that Corki in the mid lane here, as Altec has picked up Ezreal. There's some tools to do it, and the Kindred does come through here for Moon. So you mentioned, put Quan on a tank, put Impact on a tank. Everyone else is going to do the carrying. So Moon on Kindred going to do what he can on this champion.
The triple marksman double tank here from NRG. This is one of the most sturdy team comps that you can look for with a team fight. With Braum and Malphite as your front line, you're free for all of the marksmen to position themselves to sort of spread out. And it'll be hard for CLG to actually crack that if you grew up as 5. So CLG may look just for picks, try and control vision here. With the squad that they've got, obviously you're going to go for split push, classic CLG, and then look for LeBlanc Elise picks.
Yep. So CLG making no surprise going for that LeBlanc, as you mentioned here, trying to pick those people off. And Darshan early picking Fiora, which actually I'm curious to see how she will do against these marksmen. If she can get focused down, you can knock her down before she kills someone off. But if you give her free time to hit one of those squishies, she will kill him by herself.
And she is one that can apply split push pressure against Malphite.
Absolutely.
So they're looking actually not even to have her group up, probably spread out this team. And then, as we said, use that Fog of War. They've got so many ways to pick people off with the bindings, with the cocoons, LeBlanc Burst. The only question is, can they capitalize on that early game and get to the point where they've got the split push with that pressure, where they can control the map early and try and get the vision down to control that Fog of War.
And early game typically has been CLG's forte, so we'll see if that happens here in this game. Guys, here's the battle for second place right in front of us. You guys at home, weigh in who it's going to be. Tweet hashtag NRG win or hashtag CLG win to @LOL Esports. Let us know who it's going to be. The battle for control of second for now between CLG and NRG right now. Here we go.
And look at this, a Corky Cole in the mid lane for GBM. This is a guy, the laning phase is not really where his best moments are. His best moments are when they get to the team fighting and when they do get to the late game and he's 100-0ing enemy carries. But for the lane phase, he's actually going to commit to the farming style here.
And against LeBlanc.
Which is, yeah, an interesting choice, especially against an assassin who's going to try and kill you.
Yeah.
Maybe who he just tries to roam around, as we've seen. Darshan going to get quite a few vital procs here.
Yep.
Can't get the ward, though.
What's interesting, if Darshan's fighting from the bottom right corner of Impact, he can actually get really lucky with vitals, because he'll either spawn on the top or right side or the bottom or left side alternately. And that means they could spawn on the bottom and the right and the bottom and the right. Either way, both have back to refill the refillable potions. Yeah, so GBM is missing out on, I believe it's 80 health by not getting a Doran's. The 3 life on hit is better than 3% lifesteal for almost the entirety of Corky's early and mid game. But he won't have the durability for burst. And that can be threatening here for GBM.
Yeah, as far as starts go as well, CLG have the deep vision, but NRG have been able to sneak around here.
Ooh, look at this play by NRG.
Chunk.
Aframu's going to take a whole ton of damage at the very start. Stixxay smart enough to hit the AD carry, though, and a bind from Aframu. All he did was burn exhaust.
Yeah, you can see Afro was holding onto the bind, trying to work around a positioning where he could get an angle onto Stixxay.
Yeah.
But good play there by Conquan. Stays in front the entire time, as Braum should, and is able to block that. So they get a summoner advantage out of it.
They get a summoner advantage, but Altec has no health right now because all I did was focus Afro, who has 3 potions. And Altec got chunked to like 1/3, so... I mean, it's Ezreal who can spam Qs, and he'll probably be okay, but
the thing is,
they can't fight 2-on-2.
True, they can't fight 2-on-2 and go for many more trades. However, both junglers started on the bottom side, and if junglers do find their way up top, the missing exhaust definitely makes the difference in an all-in. Bindings keep landing for Afro, though, and he's zoning them off of the gold from the minions. At least they're staying in experience range.
Yeah, and Stixxay's even tanking Mystic Shots, which prevents not only Altec from getting the last hit, but also triggering his Feast.
Can't go to Vital.
Yeah, not quite. Can't trigger the Feast Mastery either to get that 20 health and put that back on cooldown. So CLG trying really hard to knock him down. Of course, Darshan playing it very aggressively. Moon's coming back around to this side at level 3.
This early move. Both junglers did start bottom, and both CLG knew that they started bottom because they had that ward on red, so they assume he's going top, but Darshan...
When's he going to go in?
Ooh, the patience here.
Next Q cooldown from Impact.
They're waiting for Darshan to go for that minion line.
Okay, he's got the Q. He gets the... Ooh, doesn't block a whole lot. Has to flash get away. He will stay alive, just barely. And there will not be a die. Darshan will have to teleport back into lane.
Yeah, WoW Kindred is a monster early game. Malphite early game, 3-6 cannot really set up ganks very well, so not much damage added there. And all they're going to do is burn the teleport. Flash actually as well from Darshan, so maybe there's a repeat. Now he might have to...
Wave.
Wait, he didn't even get a pink ward. Didn't have enough money to get both the pink...
yeah, no, only 50 gold. He bought the Doran's Blade.
As well as the blade, so... He's going to just rely on the outplays here.
It did give Xmithie time to counter jungle, though. He ran right into this top jungle and tried to really mess with NRG.
Yeah, but I wouldn't go back top lane if I was Moon. I would go straight back to that bottom lane. Try and punish this flashless Fiora that did not buy a ward. And they can tell that he didn't buy a ward because they had vision of him coming in on the teleport. They know that it's just the trinket ward they have to watch out for. And what you can do on Kindred is hop Q over the back of the dragon pit, so it's very easy.
And look at his pathing. He's going to the left of Krugs, over by red buff, but he's still just farming.
He did almost everything we're looking for. So at that timing, though, Darshan was hovering in the fog of war. So that is also communicated, and they may suspect that he was warding at the Dragon Pit as well, which is what you would want to do, especially if you know that they're going to come back and try and attack you. Sometimes you can just feint and
I think
bluff.
he faked warding.
You can bluff your opponents by walking into the fog of war. They assume that you have a trinket ward up, and you're placing one. But Darshan going to get away with it here.
Wow. And look at that now. The Wolf Spirit spots Moon inside his own jungle with pretty much no camps to kill. And Moon's got nothing to do now except find a lane to walk into. Darshan's still battling Impact. Did not manage to riposte the ground slam, though. So didn't block the damage or the slow.
So despite that early successful gank from Moon, the end result, because of the counter jungling and because of the nice mind games with warding from Darshan, is that Smithy does have a 200 gold lead on Moon now. Plus, there are no more camps for him, Moon, to take, and it's so early in the game, it's hard for him to go for a successful invade. Smithy actually going to clean a pink ward for himself as well. So early game going very well for Smithy due to the attention that Darshan is attracting.
Yeah, well played. And that teleport and flash cooldown are quickly ticking back down to something reasonable. 2 minutes left on the flash for Darshan. And he'll be able to just get away from the next gank that shows up. Huhi right now trading exactly equal with GBM, although since he started Cole, it's technically better for the Corki player here.
Yeah.
Huhi finally is able to zone him out.
There's no cull option for AP. You have to get kills if you want to try and stack something up there and go with the ring.
Something tells me Huhi will try to get some kills this game.
Definitely a good game plan on LeBlanc.
Yeah, I
like
feel
that
like
strategy.
enemy champions.
Top-notch strategy.
Yeah. It's about as complex as just tilt them. Just kill them. Thanks, Freak.
Let's see if the junglers can get in on that, because Moon actually... I'm a really big fan of going Hunter's Potion on Kindred specifically, especially after the nerfs to her
the mana
Q,
costs.
the mana cost or Q that are incoming.
Yeah.
And Hunter's Potion was something that took me a long time to become a proponent of. Yeah, but since trying it out, especially on Kindred and Champions,
Afro just
mana.
didn't Black Shield. It was up. He just didn't cast it.
All right, well, junglers are going to meet up down on the bottom side, speaking of them. But the ward on Moon means that CLG will have plenty of vision. Yeah, anyways, one of the best,
got tracked too
the best little feel-good features of your Hunter's Potion is that even though it stacks up at 5 and you get an extra one for each camp, you don't have to consciously use one. It's built in that if you kill a camp and you have 5 stacks, it'll just proc one for you.
Yep.
And whether you need the regen or not, you'll get some extra mana back, because we found players are not the best at activating their active items.
How frequently do you empty your Hunter's Potion, Kobe?
Now that I've seen that it does it automatically,
Never?
Almost never.
So you basically just never get all the health out of it.
If you actually get into a 100% fight, an all-in with someone, I just spam all the charges at the very beginning so that I don't have to think about it mid-fight. As soon as you see someone, as soon as you try and go all in on someone, there's not really a drawback to just spamming all the charges.
Oof. Trade back and forth. GBM ready to immediately burst into the Husi. And of course, GBM has better sustain. He's got that Cull for that life on hit, and he's got the Phage for some health. So he's going for the greedier item start, and he's not getting punished at all. I gotta say, advantage GBM. Cull is done in 31 CS, and he's gonna get a lot of money out of that. That'll be probably one of the earliest Triforce power spikes we've seen in competitive League of Legends.
Also, it's very hard to try and push Corki in and then go for a roam, because Corki has so much wave clear with just his normal abilities. Huhi can't really play into that style that he likes to. Afromu is going to try and combine with Smithy here, and nobody's on the way. There is a teleport. No, there's no teleport from Impact.
Oh, man.
This is probably a dead Altec.
There's the culling. Altec down to 3/4. Afromu and Smithy around the wing. They chain up their CC. That's first blood. Going to Stixxay. Good turret aggro juggling as well. Nice first blood to CLG.
Yeah, usually when you talk about chaining CC, it's overlapping them just a tiny bit so you get the maximum duration out of the crowd control and not stacking them. But both skill shots on point, both of them land, and they don't even need more than the duration of a single one to take down Altec. He didn't blow his summoners, so he knew that he was dead, and he wasn't going to waste anything extra.
Yep.
A little bit too late to the party, so...
Yeah, I think he
able to find
realizes
anything
he's
there.
gone.
Yeah.
Because as soon as he walks over, he sees GBM get into lane with blue and goes,
Yeah,
okay.
and there's at that point, there's nothing good that comes of face checking.
No.
So either he is there and you take a bunch of damage, or he's not there and you just find that your blue buff's gone, which you already know.
Yep.
But yeah. Oh, Aframu and Smithy, Deadeye. And does he even get a split second? Nope. Just the duration of a single shot.
Yeah. Yeah, I think even if he pre-flashed, I think he was still guaranteed to die there.
I mean, there's definitely no good
Smithy takes
outcome there
aggro,
for him.
repels when it goes, onto him. Yeah. So smart by Altec to not even bother burning sums to get away.
And again, the early map movements from CLG, the calls there from Aframu, setting up the 3v1 dive, and they didn't have to give anything up for it either. Darshan is pressuring bottom so hard with the Fiora that he got Impact's teleport down. Even though there's no CS lead down there, he's absorbed jungle ganks early on, allowed Smithy to get that early farm advantage that Moon has since caught up. But again, the split push presence that CLG have, and they pretty much always play off with Darshan, is still there. It's still providing them with the ability to make plays on the other side of the map. Usually you think of Ezreal as like, yes, I have Ezreal on my team. I can go roam. We can leave him. He'll be safe because he has Arcane Shift, and he can see us with Mystic Shot. But there's at least on the other team, and not safe for a 3-man dive.
Nope. Yeah, CLG have pretty much just stayed in this side of that. I mean, how many times has Smithy been in this side of the jungle? This is like his 4th time now on this specific quadrant of the map. He is always here, and it's got to be tough being Altec in those situations.
Yeah. And even though the CS numbers have caught up for Moon, Smithy is holding on to the gold advantage. Does have that assist on first blood.
500 gold up, and the assist is only worth 100, so he's 400 farm gold up right now.
More valuable kills.
Yeah.
On minions and monsters.
Yep.
Mostly monsters.
Almost always worth more. And mid lane now under a little bit of fire. CLG going for that mid lane push as they had Altec stuck under his turret at top lane tier 2.
Yeah. It's
Nowhere else to
actually,
be.
a lot of times you'll see the big gold differences not matching up with the CS numbers when one jungler ignores Raptor Camp.
Oh, yeah.
Because in the Raptor Camp, the small ones are only worth 9 and kind of inflate your numbers a little bit.
They're worth like 1/10 as much as Scuttle Crab, but you kill like 3 times as many of them.
Speaking of which,
74. Okay, later game Scuttle Crab.
Rift Herald watches Smithy kill his cousin.
Yep, his unmutated cousin.
Again, it's another Kindred mark denied as well.
Yeah?
Moon still has 0 marks for himself.
But he's still doing what he can to control the wards. You can see NRG setting up for this mid lane as best they can. Conquan is kind of grouping with him. GBM actually with a nice rotation out of the bot lane, knocking this turret down pretty hefty. He and Impact getting a lot of pressure here. No one from CLG is answering. Instead, they're walking top lane to knock tier 2 down as Braum and Ezreal come to defend that.
Yeah, but again, Braum and Ezreal are a really good combination of defending turrets. Braum can put up the wall to block any sort of damage, and Ezreal's got great ranged execution for these minions, plus has the ultimate if they really get into a pinch and he has to wave clear. So they're going to be able to recover here pretty quickly, and the 1-to-1 turret stands. Moon now is the target for another dive, it looks like.
Yeah, CLG were going for the long con. Stay in that brush, see if someone comes around, look for the damage. Oh! GBM getting hurt pretty heavily. The Triforce is done before 13 minutes. So as much as CLG were like looking for that mid-game play, wrapping around on the turret like they did last time, now Triforce Corki says probably not.
Yeah, and because he got chunked out, that might cost Kindred another mark. Usually you're so excited to see Scuttlecap spawns for your marks, but Smithy has been on top of it. He's taking every one, and it looks like he's making a beeline straight for this one. With your mid laner chunked out like that, you don't have the pressure to be able to go for that, and he might keep Moon, unless Moon could steal this Scuttlecrab kill at 0 stacks, which does significantly impact the damage of Kindred. And feels pretty bad not to get any of those early game.
Nice Dark Binding used by Aframu. It allows Xmithie to save his Cocoon cooldown. As long as you root it, it drops the 50 armor and magic resist off the Scuttle.
Any type of hard CC will do. And it's going to be Dragon for them as well. Smithy going to use his Spiderlings to tank.
And I like how he actually managed to spread them out pretty well, you see, because Dragon does deal AoE damage, so you can actually lose all your Spiderlings at once, but Xmithie, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but managed to have the first one not splash. I mean, Xmithie's pathing to get his Spiderlings to walk that way.
True enough. Another outer turret trade. Top side is probably going to go down to NRG. I think Darshan will have to back off just due to the threat of Kindred, even though Kindred has recalled in the Fog of War.
And here we go, bot lane tier 2. AD carry versus Malphite. We've seen this one before. You don't do much damage to it. And we'll see if CLG can actually get some headway down here. Xmithie and Huhi now sitting towards the bottom side of the map. And you can see that the general movements of both Huhi and Xmithie, they're generally staying near the dual lane. They're on that side of the map at all times, hoping to cheat to that side of the map to make that turret go down. But right now, it's just been answered very cleanly and very perfectly by NRG, just matching those, you know, again, very, very cleanly.
Yeah, we did miss the Cull explosion as well for GBM. 148 minions killed, and he's got that gold lead.
Yeah, 13 minutes when he got Triforce,
over
basically.
Huhi.
Quick wave clear there. Blue buff on the LeBlanc, but mid lane staying equal. Impact actually is ahead of Darshan by a pretty decent amount, and 6A leading by roughly the same over Altec.
Can he get his first crab? Doesn't look like he even wants to go for it.
Yeah, it is on the map, but he's not even pushing towards it at all. Moon really not trying for this.
CLG, though, they've really set themselves up for some easy farm for Stixxay down on the bottom side. A lot of deep vision down on that red side jungle. And with Huhi constantly going for trades on GBM, there's a lot of control here. Even though the game is so even in gold right now, CLG just have a lot more pressure on the map due to the vision. Yeah, and it's going to allow them to grab this Rift Herald very, very quickly for themselves. I say give it to Darshan this time around.
I don't know if he can kill Malphite. Maybe he won't be against him, but
looks like Jungler wins again.
Yeah, I think this is the right choice. As much as you wanted to give it to a non-jungler, I just don't think Darshan can do anything with it. Maybe at some point he'll eventually outscale the Malphite, but right now it's been Impact kind of the whole time. There was one gank that burned Summoners, there was no repeat, but even after that, Darshan just has been slowly losing the lane.
His Hydra's completed, so he can quickly shove and then rotate, so I was looking for mainly to make use of the movement speed there for him. Since you can instantly clear wave with Fiora after Hydra is completed.
True.
And try and apply your pressure towards the mid lane where Huhi's already chunking out GBM. But CLG happy just to farm up. Goes over to Xmithie for a little bit quicker of a clear. Yep. And doesn't look like he'll get too much use out of it. But quick rotation down there.
Yeah. And we can look at the energy side of things as well and see what they're up to. We talked about the GBM Colin to Triforce already. Altec has Iceborne done at this time, and he's also got enough money to combine into Manamune. So the two items that Ezreal cares about are waiting for him in base.
Also, CLG are setting up a move here. You can tell because Stixxay was freezing before with the Lucian bottom, but he's decided to instantly change his behavior down there, and he's quickly shoving. He just went off a full combo onto the minion wave. They're trying to hard shove bottom now and push this into the turret. They actually have buy timings for mid lane, so they aren't going to be able to answer the pressure. It looks like they just want to get it into turret there. And purchases do come through. Frost Queens, a bunch of extra AP here.
Double value sweeper. Not going to be able to get it.
Yeah.
No, CLG keep trying to set up traps near Stixxay. You're seeing, again, Afromu and Xmithie always nearby, but energy never quite bites.
Yeah, CLG fishing for those picks that we talked about. The Fog of War control has gone their way. The early game set them up really well for this. Frost Queens is on cooldown right now, so it won't be able to set up, but Huhi goes in, misses the chain.
GBM intentionally doesn't move, I assume, and it says, you're not going to hit that skill shot.
He's had some very, very different juking methods so far. Straight line up to the north there for the first one. This time doesn't move at all. Trying to keep his opponents off balance. No pattern here for GBM so far emerging. But look at this. Binding
hits Moon. Huhi gets the black shield and goes in for the burst damage. Out of him. And there's the culling. But Conquest says, nah, don't you dare.
So he is able to hold on to the ultimate cooldown on Kindred.
Yeah.
The big chunk means he's going to have to use all of his Hunter Potion charges, though.
That's fine. I assume it's
it. That's what it's for?
I feel like most people literally yes. But I feel like most people never get through the whole bottle anyway. So just remembering to use it in the first place is pretty worthwhile. More wave clear by Altec, and CLG have to say, yeah, you're right, this wave's yours, we'll clear it next.
Yeah, Moon is a heavy drinker, back up to full health due to all 5 stacks.
And mid lane cleared away without too much damage on that turret. Just scuffed the paint a little bit.
Okay, well, they're going to move top and try and make a move into the red side jungle to get vision down, but honestly, it seems like Moon has complete disregard for Kindred stacks. Still sitting at 0, there's a crab just waiting for him, and they're playing a fairly dangerous game, trying to move up top here.
Even gets away. Dragon respawns, by the way, at 20-24. That's up in about 30 seconds right now, so we'll see which team goes for that.
I feel like that was a really a wasted move from NRG. They make the call to try and move up top and pressure top turret into Fago, into CLG territory against a pick comp.
Yeah.
That is so dangerous. Even though nobody died here and there was, in action, that was extremely risky.
Yeah.
That was an extremely risky call. We'll see if
like
it pays off, though. Look at Huhi.
Yeah, they had seen like 1 or 2 of CLG top, and Impact had pushed the wave. They thought maybe we can join him and get there, but I agree, it was through fog. Moon has never been really inside CLG's jungle. He's never gotten those deep wards in.
This
Darshan,
is the long
flanked
game
by
here,
Moon,
though.
goes in, pops the ult, gets a little bit of damage to. There's the Valkyrie away, and Darshan says, you're right, I don't want to fight this after all, but gets down pretty low on health. Here comes the Malphite, 500 HP, flashes for the Q. Darshan has nowhere to go. He's not going to live. Pops the flash, jumps backwards, there's the knockup, there's the kill. NRG get their first one of the game thanks to Impact and GBM.
Hey, those deep wards that they got with that top movement actually do pay off, so it was a worthwhile risk for them. They killed Darshan. They could try and shove in mid lane here and trade a mid lane turret for the early dragon. That's honestly a really good trade. If you can get that mid turret down, the global gold and the map control that it does provide, definitely worth an early dragon here. Only number 2 for CLG, but no minion wave, energy.
And look how far Stixay is, or not Stixay, sorry, Xmithie is. He's pretty much on the bottom side of the river right here. So 5v3, Huhi, a little damage into Conquan, but here now the minion wave is in. Culling does a little bit. Impact happy to tank what he can. And the wave gets cleared anyway, so not enough pushed in by NRG.
Yeah, they actually don't trade anything. So CLG snagging Dragon number 2 without having to give up turret, even though it was a good pick there by NRG. It did cost NRG their teleport and their Malphite ultimate. Without Malphite ultimate, you can't really take the ensuing team fight, as death timer's so short right now. Darshan already came back up. You have to worry about that teleport from CLG's side. But yeah, NRG, they use their flash Malphite ultimate as well as teleport all to get this kill. And CLG are the ones that came out with the dragon on the backside.
All right, well played. Both teams getting what they can. 900 gold puts CLG ahead, as kills and turrets are the same. CLG have been winning in farm now, slowly but surely. Darshan has closed the gap against Impact, and Xmithie remains 500 gold ahead of his counterpart in the jungle, Moon. Fairly slow-placed game. Both teams have been looking for, like, hey, if they defend this, we can dive them, and you see, like, 1 or 2 of those, but both teams fairly gun-shy and actually pulling the trigger. Dragon's never been contested, and we're never seeing these counter teleports to stop these ganks from happening.
Constant shoving down bottom here. CLG know that they still have teleport advantage, even though Darshan died, and they're trying to send it back down bottom. Concon comes in for the protection, though.
And it keeps Impact healthy enough to be worth fighting with, though he is low on mana and only really has mana for just the ulti, so Impact might need to recall back and show up again later. Frost Queens was picked up pretty early by Huhi. Afro's getting it next, buying it after Aegis, so item priority is a little bit interesting there. Getting defense first, then pick potential afterwards. This is 6.2 with the 90-second cooldown on the item, but you can see still worth picking in CLG's eyes.
Oh yeah.
Stixay getting some damage to the red buff. Concon once again pops the shield and survives almost everything Huhi throws at him. GBM pushing in. Whoa! Valkyrie's aggressive! Has to get Kindred ult to stay alive. That was risky.
Yeah, he doesn't even stay in it to get the heal afterwards. That means he's going to base immediately to try and fountain, and CLG have time to make the split push work.
It wasn't like he had packed in a timed out. GBM really Valkyried in for a QR, and CLG said, that's cute, but we have a LeBlanc. Now Altec has to Arcane Shift to stay alive. Binding just barely misses, but this turret now dangerously low on health. CLG have managed to make this push work reasonably well. Darshan is once again pushed in the bot lane. It's about to reach the turret. And in fact, that will be minions lost to a tier 2 turret is often pretty rare in pro play. To rotate that slowly is uncommon.
Meanwhile, mid lane, Huhi gets the black shield to go for LeBlanc poke. Nice dodge there on the Ezreal ultimate. Did take a pretty big chunk on the exit though.
She's slowly chunking people. Now Moon, yep, Conquan jumps right in the front, says, okay, binding hits means I show up.
Exactly, this is why we said it was such a sturdy team comp from NRG. They have so many ways to protect members, even if they do get caught. Moon ultimate was burned there on the Kindred. Conquan continuously jumping in to try and protect people who get hit by bindings or cocoons.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely though, CLG chipping away at the turret, and now it should fall.
And that will be enough. Conquan takes the stun. He can't protect Altec, but it just means the turret goes down. No more kills. And look at that, Darshan once again, unopposed. Impact walked top lane to hold a wave. Darshan got a bunch of turret. Bot lane tier 2 goes down. CLG up now 4 turrets to 2.
Split push begins to take its toll as they have a pretty big influx of cash there with 2 turrets going down. Big item breakpoints here for CLG. Now you have to really worry about the picks. Much more territory lost for NRG in the last couple minutes. And we may see the Frost Queens into Bindings, Cocoons, and LeBlanc Burst actually take their toll on NRG. NRG really want just a solid 5-on-5 though with set battle lines, whereas CLG will play sort of a guerrilla warfare tactic.
Ooh, he chunked down to half though. He's still got to be careful of the kind of damage GBM can put into him.
I think. All right, well, they're going to try and siege up here and work on the turret.
Rom Shield can keep the minions alive. Doesn't go for it though. He once again half health, but wants to find someone to kill.
Those are honestly some pretty beautiful dodges there from Stixxay on Lucian as well. And Darshan getting his work done. Package though, and Malphite. We saw this last game. The only difference is there's no Alistar, so they're just itching to dive.
Braum can be an Alistar in a pinch, so I feel like he can do similar things, you know? Like a baby calf maybe, but still scary enough. Pushing in, there's the package, and just all it does is zone CLG off. It's actually a very safe usage. It doesn't put GBM in danger, but it makes CLG respect him anyway.
They're just trying to buy time for Darshan here. CLG poking and prodding. They're trying to stop recalls.
NRG are so slow to actually commit to these kinds of fights that it just gives so much time to Darshan, who keeps pushing with impunity, and no one tries to stop him. Inhibitor itself now under fire. I don't see a single recall from NRG. Impact wanted in on who he popped the ulti, but didn't get the damage through, and that's going to be an inhibitor taken down without Darshan having to fight anyone. Now finds Moon and Altec in a 1v2. Flashes to get away. The flash to follow. Moon's going to get some damage down, but Darshan buys space, then Q's out.
So smart right there. Goes in for the speed burst from hitting someone with Black Cleaver, then uses Q out and is able to run away. Nice escape from Darshan. I thought that he was toast, but very good understanding of LeBlanc's.
Oh, the Afro move! That's the kill picked up. Absolutely beautiful play by both of them. That's how you 2v1.
Flashes into the brush, fires the binding from Fog.
And GM didn't see it coming. He had flash up. And just didn't realize he was getting bound.
You have to have a pretty quick reaction to flash that, but you can definitely flash that binding if you see it coming through.
Yeah.
It does reveal itself as soon as it's outside of the brush, but GBM didn't have his finger over the button. Goes down because of it, and CLG mid-game is strong in squad.
Really good stuff by Counterlogic Gaming, and a lot of that is NRG allowing them to. They took so long to finally group up and go for the package Malphite dive, and twice in a row, no one answered Darshan, just sitting in the bot lane, knocking turrets down.
This is why we always highlight the split pushing and the mid-game objective trading from CLG. They do it so well because they have so much practice at it.
Yep. They have one style they're very, very good at. Darshan will happily first round pick Fiora and keep playing this exact style of League of Legends. Smithy, nice smite. Cocoon revealed it in the brush because Cocoon gives you a reveal, which allowed him to smite it. So nice mechanics there by Smithy. GBM will be sad without a blue buff.
You know what makes me sad?
What?
Kindred 30 minutes in almost with zero stacks, and every spawn has been on a scuttle cap too. I'm actually tilted.
Well, CLG tilting up to the top lane right now, looking for Baron Nash to be their pickup there. Darshan, 1v1 Impact, who sits against the wall to not get turned around on. And look at that, GBM walks down and says, thank you very much, that's going to be mine. Now Huhi forcing back Moon to buy some time for the Baron Nashor take, but it doesn't die fast enough. Smithy's dangerously low.
Yeah, still a little early in the game for that one.
Oh! We saw that.
Saw that.
NRG didn't, but we did.
Oh, look at that. There's the first Scuttle Crab, or the first Mark spawn that's not a Scuttle Crab, I think.
All right.
Don't care. Grab that turret money.
Grab that turret money. Here comes the push in for mid lane tier 2. Good burst out from Huhi.
Man, that was risky too.
Yeah, he could have gotten ulted by Conquan and just died.
Didn't even get the black shield before going in on that.
Yeah, if Conquan ulted, he was gone.
I think that maybe Aframu had it on cooldown or something. He was actually walking near Huhi. Maybe they didn't even call for it, but generally you'll see the Morgana with the block used just for that purpose to black shield him so he can go in for those big chunks. And you don't have to make the play quite as risky. But CLG are able to run them off the turret with that move from Huhi.
Whoa. Another attempt on Baron. The TP in from Darshan. They're rushing this one down, but the rest of that squad is nearby. Ezreal and Corki have to walk from base. Huhi getting chunked out by Moon after the try to help. Does not land the bind, though. And here comes the team. Teleport is coming in from Malphite. 4,000 health on Baron. This is risky by CLG, but they pick off Conquan. Now Moon pops the ulti very early, and Afro bites back, but Baron Nashor is picked up by Impact. Then he ults 3. This could be horrible by CLG. A triple for NRG if you count the Baron, and they're pushing in to kill more.
Okie dokie. That was an early smite from Smithy, and he had just used his Spider Form Q to get a kill on Conquan. So he didn't have the combo of smite plus the execute from Elise Spider Form.
Man. That
Impact comes in with the 510 damage Malphite, unstoppable force. That might just be the thing that turns the game for NRG. Inhibitor for sure gonna go down.
Inhibitor for sure. CLG have to wait around the back lines. And now NRG will back up.
We're definitely getting another look at that.
Yeah.
All right, Impact actually gets chained here.
Here comes the Spooky Ghost as well. They could get a lot of damage here. He does not have ulti for 30 more seconds. Spooky goes in, doesn't get a lot of damage done. And they gotta be a bit afraid here. Their team's not around. NRG getting away pretty cleanly. CLG still chasing. I don't know if this is gonna work. Rom has respawned and come back in. Flash bind on a GBM, but again, CLG trying way too hard, taking so much damage, and Afro's gonna go down. CLG jumping in really hard again. Darshan really wants it. They do pick up Impact. They get the heal for it, but can they win this fight? Altek is healthy, and he's playing Ezreal. This makes it hard for CLG to win. It's a 1-for-1 as ult comes by.
Another skirmish trading a lot of health though for both teams is actually okay for CLG, as it probably means the rest of the Baron will go to waste and they don't get to use the Baron, the second half of that Baron. But man, let's take another look at this, because it's going to be the Malphite ult plus E probably right after. Oh, he flashes into Q.
Yeah, and the smite dropped to 80 health.
He saved.
Yeah, Impact ulted them.
He saved his ult for the team fight. Impact flash Q steals Baron.
Yep.
And then destroys them in the team fight as well with the ult over the top. My God. All right.
Looks like Impact died during the pause. I don't know what he got picked off by, but during the Baron replay, Impact died.
Don't care. That was completely worth it. No matter what he does for the rest of the game.
Stixxay got the kill.
Stole Baron, destroyed them as they tried to escape over the wall as well. What a monster. In the video, they were just talking about how they thought Impact has fallen off a bit since his glory days, but that right there was a highlight play for NRG. Still down in gold, though.
Still down in gold. But Impact has like all those teams' kills right now. 4-1-1. Thornmail, Iceborne Gauntlet, Sunfire Cape. He's even got a QSS to make sure he can duel Darshan.
He's actually doing it all. He's got some magic penetration for his abilities, as well as the Sunfire burn, as well as the Thornmail damage, and he's got plenty of cooldown reduction with the Iceborne.
Yep. All right.
One-man wrecking crew.
Now, meanwhile, NRG going to send the rest of their team towards the bot side here. They're pushing it really slowly, waiting for the next wave to build up. This is very smart. You can see the minions are now coming in right behind Altek here, so a 2.5 size wave. There's the killing. Conquan blocks it up, says don't you dare.
Yeah. Even though it's so close now, the big turn means so much more for the 5-on-5 squad. The team that wants to look for the AoE.
And again, GBM, a zoning package, really smart play. Says, don't you dare walk back up on this turret. We'll kill you with Malphite if you show up. And it allows Tier 2 to go down. 6 turrets to 5. NRG winning in this regard. And they're up 400 gold.
Yeah, they'll probably be able to get this Dragon, which not only gives them the 6%, but stops CLG's Dragon stacking. Everything turned at that Baron. Smithy might go for this. Nah, that'd be a suicide move. Doesn't have it in him. And now it really does come down to, will CLG actually find one of these game-breaking picks here out in the open on one of the carries for NRG? Because the 5-on-5 solid team fight is definitely NRG favored and looking very difficult for CLG to come back. Even though the gold is so close, the team comp here for NRG is
very
a lot
scary.
easier to pull off.
Yeah.
Very, very simple in execution here to just group up. Even the Kindred ultimate is not difficult when you have a front line that beefy.
Yeah.
And Kindred could just stand in the back line. Even if someone does get back there, you can try and save whoever is the target.
GBM has picked up a Hex Drinker now to try to stay alive against Huhi. That's going to work pretty well from it, looks like. There's still no Void Staff yet for the LeBlanc. Also building up towards a later Infinity Edge is GBM. Went for the slightly more rare Essence Reaver build on Corp to have more mana regen. Huhi going in for some burst.
Get anyone. Comes up short on the R there. No damage dealt. Big cooldown's not going to be there for him now.
But the wave is still cleared, and by the time the next one shows up, he will have his spells back up. Malphite was splitting in the bot lane. Darshan, I don't think has the mana pool to actually kill him in a one-on-one. And unless he goes Essence Reaver for mana regen, I don't know if Darshan's ever going to be able to kill Impact again. Huhi, the one sent to kill the super minions because those have negative magic resist. You end up being the best one to kill them if you're a mage. And now CLG playing the defense game. So gold, as you mentioned, the gold is close. The comp we think is better for NRG in a team fight. CLG have to play around that somehow.
So I need to point out one more buy that it's really interesting here from Impact. Darshan will probably never be able to kill him. He's got the QSS. You can QSS off the Fiora ultimate. No true damage from the 4 procs, and he'll just have to rely on the normal vitals popping up afterwards.
And Impact just sold a Sunfire cape for a Randuin's Omen. So he went even farther into, I'm going to be a tank territory. At this point, right, max rank W and E will clear the wave anyway with an Iceborne Gauntlet. He's got the AoE to kill minions off. So going for a tankier build. I haven't seen anyone sell Sunfire for Randuin's.
No, honestly, I was curious if he would sell something for a Zerat portal or a banner or something like that, just because NRG already have such good map control. If they get an extra lane pushing with something like a Zerat portal or a banner, that means the next Baron coming up would be a lot easier for them to force something with. Mid inhibitor is exposed though.
Yep. Darshan going for Bloodthirster instead as his lifesteal item to keep up with Impact's Thornmail. Rune King might have actually been better in a DPS case, but that's actually a math problem that I don't know the answer to. So debatable. Going for Bloodthirster either way will make him more durable. He once again looking for some damage with Black Shield on. Doesn't really do much though. Again, Conquan is always there to put the shield up and at least block one of the sigils.
Right now, NRG just trying to regain control, clear out some vision from CLG. CLG have been pretty diligent as far as the swapping to defensive style Warden around Baron.
But NRG are clearing it away pretty nicely. Pink Ward inside the pit will help them kill any other wards that CLG puts down. This side of the map is fairly dark, though. Honestly, NRG don't have any wards that spot CLG's jungle, so they actually can't catch people out. They literally just now got one that sees Smithy. So they're not really ready to set any traps up.
Oh, Malphite ulti.
Go right in for Smithy. The ult in, Black Shield comes through. He stays alive. Has to get away. And he picked up Altec. He picked up Altec as the team was looking somewhere else. That is a huge pickoff.
That is the biggest pick that he could possibly make, actually. Another collapsing.
A lot of damage coming through. Stixxay alone on the wing, putting plenty of damage down. Conquan at under 1,000 health. Stixxay takes him out from the side. And now who he wants in. Impact has no ult. He does pick up a kill with a flash going in. But it's a 4 versus 3. Moon on the wings. QSS pops. Stixxay's running for dear life because Moon has a lot of damage. Hops in. And who he comes back around, looks for a bit of damage. And by the way, Darshan was pushing. By the way, that inhibitor is dead.
This CLG 4-man squad is so good at buying time for Darshan to split on bottom. Oh, that's...
No, Huhi! Huhi, no! Huhi, no! Oh my god, he's gonna kill Impact anyway, but he doesn't deserve it.
No, he's not!
Oh my god,
yes,
yes, he does! Ignite with the swag kill. And Darshan is killing the base, though. They have to recall and stay alive. And Nexus turret is dead. Mid lane tier 2 is gone as well. Impact's dead for 50 seconds. Huhi dodged a true shot barrage.
Dodged?
Oh, wait, hold on. What if he recalls into it?
No.
Oh, spectators, come on!
Timing missed.
Yeah, I mean, he had home guard anyway. He would have lived, but that would have been so freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
I almost didn't say frickin'.
Honestly, that assassination play by Huhi is MVP worthy.
Yeah.
If CLG able to pull this back. That is the only thing that could get them this big of a comeback at this stage in the game. He found his way into the backline to assassinate the Ezreal, who had both summoners up.
Oh my god. There's a locket too, like.
That reaction, freak. I love it.
When you
But actually, whoa, hold on. There's a possibility that they were very close to coming off cooldown. No, he just got bopped from the.
Did Kama just not have E up at the time?
Died. Nobody saw him coming.
He didn't pop log, they didn't pop heal, he didn't pop exhaust.
Huhi strikes from the shadows.
I mean, they went on the black shielded Elise.
Also, look how aggressive they are, buying time for Darshan. Who Stixay in the back line, taking down Conquan.
Really
NRG are completely split in this team fight. You can see the communication problems that we highlighted before. I mean, CLG are just so clean in their team fighting in the 4-on-4, knowing their limits so well, and Huhi constantly going for the back line, picking out the high priority targets so that the DPS is not there, and Impact is left on the front line. He's this big, beefy Malphite, but there's no damage behind him to follow up.
Well, package picked up by NRG, though. Inhibitor being dead means Impact can just hold that wave and teleport into a fight as needed. We'll see, this becomes a risk. Oh, wow. I was going to time it anyway, but hides away from Huhi, crushes the minion wave. Look at that. Those poor minions didn't know what was coming.
He killed 3 melees with it, Freak.
Hey, that's 60 gold.
Crushed!
Oh!
All right, I'm actually super excited for the next team fight now because CLG's fighting with this squad that's really, really just about poke and about finding an in towards the back line, around the back there. What a flank from Huhi. After that, NRG have to highly prioritize their vision around themselves. They need to ward both flanks as well as directly behind themselves so that there's no possibility of that happening again. They cannot afford for Altec to get blown up with both summoners and support standing right next to him.
And Afro now has banner. So CLG identifying and splitting was doing well for them. Darshan has finished the best 0-3 PO I've ever seen. He sold the dragon, he's killed the inhibitor twice, he's still
going
back
after
in the bot
Impact
lane.
now.
And yeah, he's going to look for that
QSS
battle.
on the ult already, so that exchange has already happened, but doesn't matter. Darshan doesn't need the ultimate.
Has to make Impact run for dear life. He'll home guard back in without problems. Of course, again, there's only one Nexus turret alive, and this is a big wave of minions. Look at that burst damage. Altec running away. Summoner heal was used here, and now they got a binding out of Conquan. There's no chance that Braum lives. A great pickup by CLG, splitting the team up, winning the 4-on-4. They're looking to push top lane.
Great binding there. Flash binding from Afromu to find another kill for themselves, and it looks like they are going to be able to close in on the...
Ooh, the damage! Stixay doing his best Wild Turtle impression, going in and finding the kill. Now Moon's got to pop the Lamb's Respite to stay alive, but he's going to get rooted inside the zone, picked off by Stixay and co, and they're inside the base. Darshan a bit low, gets the heal, gets the pickup, gets the 4th kill, gets the 5th, that's the ace, and that's Counter Logic Gaming, taking the game back and getting the win in 42 minutes. They're in 2nd place, they take down NRG.
What a well-deserved win for CLG. Getting out to such a strong early game lead, faltering in the mid game, but bringing it right back with a hero play there from Huhi. And Darshan does what he does best, continues to split push down bottom all game. 0 kills for all his hard work.
Yep.
But 2 inhibitor takes and a Nexus kill.
Well, Kobe, in a game with mid lane Corki and bot lane Ezreal, who do you think did the most damage? It was Huhi's LeBlanc, spoiler alert. Crushed everybody in that regard. Did so much work this game. 7-0-3, highest KP, least deaths. Didn't even get all that much farm, actually had less than either Darshan or Stixay. He didn't need it to do his job. Even got Frost Queens for the utility.
Yeah.
Still did more damage than everyone else.
His LeBlanc has been good, his Corki has been good, his Zed has been good.
Yep.
And the mid lane was highlighted.
Sure.
It did come down to the end game plays as well. The lane
Yeah.
phase was fairly even with GBM going for Cole and getting the extra money. Huhi came up really big for the team later.
Totally agree. Honestly, Huhi has nothing but impressed me now.
Yeah.
Farther and farther into the split. Back on Fusion and Challenger, I didn't think he was that great. When we saw him at IEM San Jose, I still didn't look like he got that much better. But now here in Week 5 in North America, he is setting himself up as a top mid laner in North America.
Not to mention the rest of CLG. Stixay here has been a guy with the spotlight on him now. Coming in to fill Doublelift's shoes is definitely a daunting task, but he's been up to it.
Yep.
Good performance there on Lucian, following up on the bindings as well as the chunk from Huhi.
I totally agree. If Huhi's best, he was second best in this game. Second highest KP, only 1 death, ton of farm, got a lot of the kills. The jump forward to pick off, I think it was GBM inside the base, to say, no, we're going to pick this guy off. He's still at half health, but I have the damage here. A very, very smart choice. And if you do that wrong, you die and you lose the game for your team, or at least you stop the win from happening then. But Stixay made the right choice, went and got the pick off. Good stuff by CLG.
In the end, it came down to team play. Both these teams, they had different styles to try and end out the game, but CLG just had cleaner team fight towards the end there, better control of that fog, and the surprise attack from behind, they were able to pull it back.
So really impressive stuff. Congrats to CLG on that win, and they now hold control of second place by themselves for now. But for more on that CLG win, let's check in with Riv with the victorious support.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great cast on the day. I am joined by Afremu of Counterlogic Gaming after their win over NRG. And I must say, everybody's saying Valentine's Day is tomorrow, but this is a weekend thing I'm hearing now.
Oh, yeah, it's the weekend theme for us. Matt Com, our general manager, wanted to do a Valentine's Day theme for the entire weekend, so he got this get-up all together for us.
All right, is like some extra power involved in this? Are you guys all just together as one for this Valentine's Day weekend?
Well, we're undefeated in these uniforms so far, so pretty good.
There you go. Enough said on that subject. Looking at this game, Afremu, I have to ask you, and do you agree, the Baron call instead of split pushing was a little bit of a crazy call, and you guys put yourself in a tight spot?
Yeah, we thought we had enough damage to do it, which was unfortunate, but Ezreal had base, and we thought we were able to get it before they could react, but it was definitely a bad call by me.
Well, following up on that, is it kind of you at that time in those intense moments, or do other voices speak up?
Usually our carries, Trevor and Jay, Huhi and Stixay, tell us how much damage they can do to the Baron, and usually based off their information, I say we should do it or not. Yeah.
Right on. Well, maybe you guys did or didn't know, but NRG's win condition is taking Barons away from opponents, so maybe stay away from that next time. Now, looking at tomorrow's game, Team Solo Mid, how are you guys feeling about that? What's the preparation going to be like?
Tomorrow's going to be a fun match. I always have fun playing with Peter if he's on my team or not, so that'll be a good matchup, and I'm pretty sure they improved a lot over the coming weeks from the beginning since they have a new roster and stuff like that, and it'll be exciting.
All right, well, Afremu, happy Valentine's Day to you. I hope you guys all find your Valentine, and congratulations on the win. Right now, we're going to throw it to the analyst desk to break down the rest of that game.
Thank you very much, Riv. CLG picking up a win there in almost very clean fashion. Riv already mentioned that kind of Baron blunder, and we will get to that. Before we do, though, I kind of want to break down the formula to victory that CLG had put together here, starting with the team composition. I mean, Fiora going over to that Darshan very quickly, realizing, okay, this is going to be a split push kind of game.
Yeah, so NRG has a pretty clear team fight comp. They have like the triple AD carry with 2 frontliners to protect them while they kind of damage people from range, and then CLG has split push with Fiora. We were talking initially a little bit about how there was a concern of a lack of wave clear on CLG's side with LeBlanc having the W in, but because the NRG comp has no lockdown CC, she actually cleared a ton of waves when NRG was trying to push on them.
Without any kind of punish, right? We don't have the Lissandra R to lock her down and punish her when she comes in. So
maybe you land a Braum Q and then get the stun after she pops back to the W, but like at that point, you're really reaching for lockdown.
Exactly. Yeah. So we do see the lanes match up evenly, though, in the beginning stages of the game. Both teams lane swapping to the top lane. So we got to see that kind of play out. Normally, early gank down onto Darshan, blows the flash. No return gank, though. So not a ton of moves for NRG to get themselves off the ground. And in all honesty, I have to point at Moon for that in not having the return gank. But also, too, no marks picked up until very late into the game. The first one coming in at about 38 minutes on the Elise kill. I mean, they were still spawning on scuttles.
It's really hard to play against CLG. Like, let's not undersell CLG here and the way they constantly make you react to them.
True.
And stylistically, when you look at the matchup between NRG and CLG, like, it does make sense a little bit that it's not going to work here. This is actually the Baron play we talked about, or Rib talked about in the interview, where CLG thought they'd have the damage to burn it down. And this is really the only mistake CLG made in the game. And it was also off of a missed smite by Xmithy. If he waits another 1/10 of a second, they get the Baron and then suffer the loss afterwards and lose, you know, a 3,000 gold swing in the other direction. The fact that CLG could recover from that disaster kind of speaks to how much better they were playing than NRG strategically in a macro sense.
Right, and a lot of that did come off the backside of the early inhib push by Darshan in that 1v1 matchup against the Malphite. And even so, again, as you mentioned, to showcase that once the inhib went down, the mid inhib went down in favor of NRG, the game just all it did was stall out. And very smartly, this is where we saw CLG kind of return to their roots, said, okay, we're going to reset the game. Let's not get in a tizzy. Let's not get off kilter, all because we gave away that Baron. They very cleanly kind of got the game back to a normal state and worked their advantage back down the map.
Yeah, and Huhi really shined this game, not only with like the wave clear we kind of talked about, but he made basically the game-winning play when he picked off Altec when NRG had the pressure around Baron. They were trying to get some picks. They go really hard on the Elise, and then he just pops the Ezreal.
Yeah, late game LeBlanc damage, the Q, mimicked Q, followed by a W.
Yeah, and then the E ended up hitting Malphite because the Ezreal was gone.
Right, it didn't actually need the chain on the back end of that. I mean, that's the I guess the disadvantage that you work yourself into when you craft this 380 carry comp, and a very smart pick up there in the LeBlanc last pick by CLG, recognizing, all right, if we can remove one of these ADCs from the map pretty early on in a team fight, then their team fight becomes much less potent.
Yeah, and it was a kind of a critical itemization mistake by Altec. He had not been targeted by a Fiora or a LeBlanc pretty much the whole game, and we were just commenting about how that BF sword was looking nice in his inventory, but what if he had some magic resist, whether it's a QSS or even a Hex Drinker? He could have built the components for that, which would have prevented the one-shot in that situation, and when CLG actually wins the game again, wouldn't have happened if he'd gone with a Hex Drinker.
Right, yeah, and yet there it is. We saw what happens without the Hex Drinker. We'll never know what would have happened with a Hex Drinker. Yeah. Unfortunate to say the least. I do now, though, want to get your opinions then on NRG. I know they were one of your big question marks at the beginning of the day, Mark, given that they were 4-3 with the gifted victory to be 5-3, only beating one team in the top 6. Well, they've played all 9 other teams now. What's your assessment after playing CLG?
I think they're a good team in terms of like their players, and I even usually like their drafts. It just seems like there's something missing in their coordination and execution. They're like, as Riv mentioned, like their game-winning play seems to be like stealing a Baron. They did it versus Tip, they did it versus Dig, they do it again here, and that's almost how they win. And aside from that, they kind of just are hard to make their own plays. They have the lowest number of first bloods actually of any team in both leagues, with only 1. Okay. And we saw Moon here struggling to get stacks. He went challenging Smite, and I didn't see him smite anyone almost the whole game. And then they had Red Trinket on Corki, and it just seemed like they're just off. If they like can get everything together, I think they'd be a really good team, but it seems just slightly off. Right, and then on CLG's side, Jad, I want to get your opinions on them, because we've seen them pick up now their 6th win, but their losses against Immortals, Cloud9, and Dignitas, those are that's a weird set of losses to have.
It is, because CLG plays such a unique game, and I feel like when they're not humming on all cylinders, they could lose to anyone, but they could also potentially beat anyone. And I do want to just combo off, you said there's something missing for NRG. It's everyone speaking the same language. I feel like Conquan has to translate for Impact and GBM during the game. And that, I think, is why they're a step slow. And I think that is also why this is a terrible stylistic matchup between CLG.
Right, and doesn't help with Moon. Moon's been vocal himself about the fact that he sometimes gets left out of that communication loop. Maybe that does play into this whole idea that he's the underperformer, but it's more of a team effort thing that's,
it's really hard to solve.
It's affecting him more than anything. Anyways, it's a great victory there for CLG, separating themselves from the rest of the pack. Keep it dialed right here, because League fans, we've got more action coming your way with Cloud9 versus Liquid. Stay with us. You're watching the North American LCS.
Hey, Darshan, man. I saw his new 2v1.
Oh, let's go, boys.
Did you?
Yeah.
What happened?
Nothing.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Very good understanding of LeBlanc's.
Oh, the flash by
Afromu! That's the kill picked up. Now Moon pops the ulti very early, and Afro bites back, but Baron Nashor is picked up by Impact. Then he ults 3. This could be horrible by CLG.
Okay, nice.
I'm going for the in-him. I'm running for the in-him.
Okay, Corky.
I can't do anything. Back up on low. We can re-engage. I'm going to re-engage.
Who he know? Oh my god, he's gonna kill Impact anyway, but he doesn't deserve it. No, he's not! Oh my god, he is! And they're inside the base. Darshan a bit low, gets a heal, gets the pickoff, gets the 4th kill, gets the 5th, that's the 8th! And that's Counter Logic Gaming taking the game back